Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us again, and thanks for your patience. As had a few folks who had messaged me this afternoon, here on the East Coast, that is, and had said, "Hey, please give an extra minute or two for me to catch up with you guys into that webinar." So I appreciate everybody's patience here. As we begin, KeyDigital webinar series where we're going to teach you about one of our brand new products. It was just released at this Infocom show. It is our KD-VW4x4 Pro video wall processor. We've received a really nice reception upon releasing this product, and we are exploring deeper into this category of video processors and doing really cool things with video signals versus just traditional switching and distribution extension at KeyDigital because of the the sister product to this, if you will, which was our multi-viewer product that allowed for multiple sources to be viewed on one display. And we had a lot of people say, "Hey, I love that product. The quality is excellent. The switching time is unbelievable. Can you do the opposite, though, which is have one image spread across multiple screens?" And that, of course, is where a video wall processor comes into play. And video wall applications are really proliferating at this point in time. You could say it's due to the cost effectiveness of monitors. You could say it's due to the fact that digital signage is the most rapidly growing category in the audiovisual industry. You could say it's due to the fact that every sign can be a digital sign, that every display can be a digital sign. Digital signage is everywhere, and so KeyDigital is growing. Major focuses have been placed on the commercial audiovisual market by KeyDigital. Digital signage is one of those primary applications for us now, and this product is just one of the many efforts and many products we have that fit excellent into these applications of digital signage. You see some applications here. And that's not to mention the traditional bar restaurant application that can use a video wall, or even the fact that there are video walls hung in residences. In fact, we heard recently brand new home build, and right in the entry, the breezeway, they hung a video wall up there, almost like, it's a slideshow of artwork, actually. It's really quite impressive. But this is a huge focus for us at KeyDigital, is the digital signage market. You're going to look at KeyDigital's product line evolve, beginning at this last Infocom show with the introduction of this product, the introduction of our Enterprise AV HD over IP product, and even last year's Infocom show where we released the multi-view product that has just absolutely been just an extremely well-received, extremely successful product, growing us into the presentation categories there as well. Now, what's interesting is when you look at these different applications, you see these video walls are actually in different orientations, different configurations, aren't they? And you'll see that VW4x4 Pro is the only product of its category, of its ilk, that allows you to achieve all of these different configurations. But to understand that necessitates that we first take a look at the past and what were the different methods over time of achieving a video wall? Because video walls may be so widespread now, but it wasn't always that way. And if you look back, say 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago, anytime you saw a video wall, they were using external video wall processor, much like the VW4x4 Pro, except for we're talking about the really high price point products. Now, of course, they do deliver high quality along with that. And if you look at some of these processors, I just quickly Googled something that came to mind, you'll see that they cost, these external video wall processors cost, you know, somewhere along the line of a new car, depending on what kind of car you drive. Now, again, the quality, is unbelievable. We at KeyDigital, we're right next to this brand that we show here in the video at InfoComm 2016. Our booth was side by side, and there is no questioning the video quality there. But we're talking about applications that have extremely critical viewing information. You're talking about screens full of data, extremely high resolution mapping, government surveillance. Okay? We're talking about applications that have those kind of budgets of a brand new car, and that's the processor alone. Then you have to go out and buy the panels that allow you to piece these monitors side by side so efficiently. Okay, and that was what was done in the industry for many years, and what is still done again in those applications we discussed. Then you go ahead and Google something like 2x2 video wall monitors or 55-inch video wall monitors, and there's a variety of brands that come up, and especially over the past 5 years, this has been an extremely popular method of achieving a video wall, is to use monitors that A, have the video wall processing built inside, and B, have extremely thin bezels, and that number, of course, just like everything else in the technology world, that number, they're getting thinner, they're getting smaller, right? Now, when we talk about achieving a 2x2 video wall with monitors using internal processing, you now have your brands that previously were known as consumer brands like Samsung, LG, Panasonic, that have entered this game, this market, if you will, this category. And so you're looking at about 50, 55-inch monitors that probably do start around the $4,000 price point per monitor. So you're looking at $16,000 in the monitors alone for a 2x2 video wall. Okay? Now, in order to achieve the video wall setup that you need for your configuration, they're not just 2x2, they might be 3x3, for example. You have to let each monitor know its configuration and its address, if you will. Every monitor is different how they do this, but usually you plug in a computer with some software into the service ports of said monitors. You have to use a special software provided by the manufacturer, and you can configure those things, which means that they're static setup. This isn't really something you do in an application where those 4 monitors, you'd like them to maybe show 4 different things. Okay? This is typically something that you're going to set it and forget it. Okay? Another thing they do is they use pass-through ports, so that the video input signal goes into, say, monitor 1 or 0, depending on which monitor brand you're talking about. Some of them start at 0, and you're able to use typically DVI, sometimes HDMI pass-through, so the video signal comes in and it goes out the pass-through, and they give you the schematic for how you're supposed to wire that. But what has happened, and KeyDigital has oftentimes been used as a means of overcoming that obstacle in the past, is that the monitors themselves, the pass-through ports in the early days didn't support HDCP, meaning that pass-through port was essentially useless, and if you were using an HDCP encrypted content trying to distribute that across your monitors. Other brands, even at this current point in time, that is August 2016, I believe, yes, other brands support HDCP through the pass-through, and all is good until you get to, say, something like the 9th monitor. And then all of a sudden, not all 9 monitors are capable of showing that image. One of them drops off. You may have seen that before. You may have worked with that before. And so, as I mentioned before, KeyDigital in the past has been used as, has been inserted using our video matrix systems, distribution amplifiers. You're able to distribute with a total HDCP compliancy and authentication to the source and distribute that signal to all, say, 9 monitors in a 3x3 configuration and be able to achieve that 3x3 video wall without any worries about the HDCP. Now, of course, that also adds to the price point of that system. Which brings us now to what is current and what you saw with KD-VW4x4 Pro at Infocom is the best external cost-effective video wall processor in the market. So now you're at a time where there are cost-effective external processor options, okay? So going back to the first gen where you had external, but not the cost of a new car, KD-VW4x4 Pro will run you about 1/10 the cost of what you had saw before in our Google searches. Of course, you'll want to reach out to your KeyDigital sales rep for more information on pricing. Now, KD-VW4x4 Pro is a 1080p video wall processor. The maximum input resolution is 1080p, and it's going to output 1080p to each monitor. But you're not looking at something that's for that extremely critical viewing application like what we saw in the first-gen external processors. But again, we're looking at a new category here, cost-effective external video wall processors. And KeyDigital's came out this year at Infocom. And there were a few other competitors that did that as well, to be honest. But what you saw from our product was a higher quality image because of the engineering know-how here at KeyDigital, and a much, much more flexible product. Well, I'll tell you what I mean by that, which allows you to overcome using a consumer display as your video wall monitor. Yes, that's right. This product comes out at a time that consumer monitors have extremely thin bezels, don't they? Which is what was so expensive in the previous generation of video wall technique or method of achieving a video wall was the narrow bezels. Here you can take advantage of today's consumer monitors or even professional with that narrow bezel. If you need to, use your monitors in 24/7 running mode, then you probably want to go with something professional. But nothing else in this market, even picture quality aside, nothing else comes close to KD-VW4x4 Pro's flexibility. There are other products that met a similar price point, had 2 modes and 2 modes only. The traditional 2x2 video wall, and using that matrix as a matrix switcher, 1-to-1, 2-to-2, 3-to-3, 4-to-4, showing 4 individual images. KeyDigital's external video wall processor, KD-VW4x4 Pro, has 8 video wall modes. It allows you to turn any monitor into a video wall, and if you're not doing a video wall, you're using it as a traditional 4x4 video matrix, it is seamless. That's right. If you've seen the MLV multi-viewer in action, this is a seamless switcher just like that is. And unlike any other entry-level external video wall processor in the market, this product also gives you bezel control. So what are these 8 video wall modes? Well, say you don't have the traditional 2x2 video wall. Instead, you are using this for digital signage in retail, in hospitality. You have 4 outputs. How about using it as a 1 vertical, 4 horizontal video wall mode. You could see the image here. But not only 1 vertical, 4 horizontal, what about 4 vertical, as you see depicted on the bottom right? 3 by 1, 1 by 3, and since there's 4 outputs, if you only need 2 outs to be utilized, we actually clone that output. Output 1 and 2 have the same image, 3 and 4 have the same image if you're going 2 horizontal or 2 vertical. Now if you're using it in a 3 output configuration, 1 by 3 or 3 by 1, that 4th output is muted. It is essentially not going to be used. And then there's even an additional mode that is 1 vertical by 4 horizontal with your panels rotated 90 degrees CCW, counterclockwise, as we see there right in the middle. So that's what makes this part the most flexible video wall product for digital signage in the marketplace. All it is a press of a button on the face of the unit, or using the supplied remote, RS-232 or TCP/IP, and you're now in that mode that you've specified. Now, in addition, you can also toggle it back to matrix mode. You could even switch modes if you wanted, but typically, as you can see here, once you install something like this, again, it's probably going to be more of a set it and forget it. Now let's talk about how we achieve getting a 1 across by 4 high or 4 across by 1 high video wall. What you have to do is this. That signal needs to come in at 1080p. Okay? Needs to come in at 1080p. But it should be native at the resolution you need. Okay? And so actually, if we look here at 1 vertical by 4 horizontal, then that means that the content that feeds in to this video wall processor, although it comes in at 1080p, your graphics person, your sign content should be not 16 by 9, but 16 times 4, right? 16 times 4, 64. So that content looks native at 64 by 9 resolution in the 1 vertical by 4 horizontal example, or 16 by 36 in the 4 vertical, 1 horizontal. So you create that content that looks good at that native resolution or native aspect ratio, and then using your graphics processing software for your signage content, you compress it. You will squish it by a factor of 4, either vertically or horizontal, which makes it, again, 1920 by 1080p. It goes into our processor where it is then expanded. So it's very nice, very, very nice. But again, this product allows you to use consumer displays as the video wall monitors, right? And because, again, consumer displays have extremely narrow bezels at this point in time, except for those narrow bezels, there's always obstacle number 1, 2, or 3. And that's where this panel flip comes in. Nothing else like it in the market. With the simple send of a command, you can flip monitors 1 or 2. In fact, you could flip 3 or 4 just in case you needed it for whatever reason. But look here at the large image, and it'll all make sense to you. Monitors these days have extremely narrow bezels on 3 sides. The bottom bezel length of the bezel typically is a little thicker than the top, left, and right. You know what I mean? The bezel flip compensates for that. Look on the top right image, and even if they are all 4 equally sized on your bezel, they might have that bump at the center. They may have that bump at the bottom corner, as we see in the bottom right image there, and that's typically to provide a location for the IR sensor, the infrared sensor for those monitors. And with our product, we deliver you an easy way to compensate for that. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. There is nothing else like it. There's nothing else like it at Infocom, and even to this point, there's nothing else like it, the panel flip feature. Now, we talked about another feature that it makes this a professional product. That is bezel adjustment. And you can look left and right to see without and then with bezel adjustment applied. Your four borders are able to be basically pushed off the screen up to 100 pixels through an RS-232 or TCP/IP command, and you can see the need for that. If we look at the left image, you can see there's a little bit of spacing there, isn't there? It doesn't quite look seamless, but then when we apply the bezel adjustment and you look on the right-hand side, that makes clear sense that you apply that bezel adjust, and that image will continue through the bezel. To do that, again, it's an RS-232 or TCP/IP command, and you can see all four monitors can be adjusted, all four corners. And that's per mode, in fact. So if you ever do have a scenario where you are toggling modes, you're actually able to have bezel adjust settings per mode. And you can see the example here, what we had to do to achieve this bezel adjusted image. The display 1 needed the right border and the bottom border to be adjusted, right? Display 2 needs the left border and the bottom border. Display 3 needs the top border and the right border, and display 4 needs the left border and the top border to be adjusted. Very, very cool stuff. However, if you're thinking, how do I really do this? I'm not familiar with sending RS-232 or TCP/IP commands over a terminal software such as HyperTerminal, TerraTerm, or PuTTY, but yet you're going to be integrating the system with Compass Control. We make your life easy. In the module, you have the tab right there, bezel adjustment. Choose the monitor, choose how many pixels, and apply that setting. Here's another look at the Compass Control module interface. We're in video wall mode. What is the source that you'd like to be extended or processed across all four images? Or here in switcher mode, matrix mode, choosing the display and the source. And then you see on the right-hand side the iPod, iPhone module. Now, I mentioned earlier our product, Enterprise AV, video over IP, HD over IP, video distribution and switching. Now, there are some video over IP products out there that actually have video wall processing built in, and that's a good feature, except for we've found a few flaws in those kind of products in our development here. So we opted not to pursue that feature. But that's good and well, because you can actually just pick up 4 transmits, connect that into the inputs of the VW4x4 Pro, send it over to your network switch, and then you could have 4 receive units and make a video wall that gives you essentially an infinite amount of outputs. And the only thing you've added is one piece of hardware, the video wall, the VW4x4 Pro, as your sources into your enterprise AV system. It's a very, very intriguing option. Now on the right we see some of the different control options, Compass Control, but also the new KeyDigital app. Look it up on the App Store, and Google Play is coming soon. Right now it's got all the enterprise AV, but come CEDIA, we're going to be launching that for the VW4x4 Pro, so you can do all of your control, your basic end user control offerings over a free app, or even controlling it over our PC tool as well. So there you have it, short and sweet. KD-VW4x4 Pro turned any display into a video wall monitor for digital signage, hospitality, retail, and even bar restaurant viewing. If you have any questions, let's go ahead and submit those now. Please don't hold back. If you're thinking it, someone else probably is as well. We'll give about 2 minutes for those questions to come in. Okay, everybody. Well, again, it doesn't look like there's too many questions. One of them came up was retail pricing, and that's something that that you'll have to email sales@KeyDigital.com for pricing info on. So again, if you're wanting to know pricing information for the KD-VW4x4 Pro or any other product on the KeyDigital catalog, go ahead and email sales@KeyDigital.com. And with that said, if you come up with anything else, go ahead and email tech@KeyDigital.com, any technical questions, or sales@KeyDigital.com for any other sales type questions you may have. We want to thank you very much for being here today to learn about KD-VW4x4 Pro. I hope it all made sense to you, and I wish you a happy selling into this digital signage market.